All right. Good morning, everybody. I was at work yesterday, but as many of you probably saw, like me, the leader of ISIS has been killed, or he killed himself. It was what it seemed like. We found out his location, and we were basically coming for him, and the walls closed in around him, and he took his own life, is what it seems like. Um, Obviously, it's a pretty big deal. Everybody should be excited that maybe this sparks the end of ISIS. Obviously, we've seen with like the Taliban and other organizations that that's probably not going to happen. Uh, but normally, what does happen is a breakdown. So, best case scenario is what I see is that maybe it forms like 4 or 5 splinter organizations of ISIS, but they're all minor. And instead of uniting and being a pain in the ass to deal with, we can break it up and it'll be much easier to take care of individually. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about because obviously it's pretty cut and dry. What I wanted to talk about is an article by the Washington Post. I don't have the article because I was at work, like I said, when this news broke, and well, when their news broke, and then the news broke about the article, where they called him an austere religious scholar. Let me get the full article title, or they've got it right here. Abu Bakr Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at the helm of the Islamic State, dies at 48. And as the Daily Wire says here, let me go and read this little part. On Saturday night, the world's top terrorist leader killed himself before the United States could take him into custody. On Sunday morning, the Washington Post seemingly struggled to come up with a headline for Abu Bakr's obituary. The original headline for the Post's article about the terrorist leader's death read, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Islamic State's terrorist-in-chief, dies at 48. To start, the headline makes it seem like he simply died of an illness rather than in response to a raid conducted by the U.S. military, but at least it calls him a terrorist and notes that of the gravity of his death. But apparently the headline was too harsh. The Post changed the headline to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at the helm of the Islamic State, dies at 48, according to a screenshot here. And if you go to their site now, that is the one that comes up. Where is it? Yeah. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, extremist leader of ISIS, dies at 48. So they've changed it. What it seems like probably 3 times because of the backlash. They had this originally, then they changed to religious scholar, and then they changed it to extremist leader. I don't understand why they don't want. What's so harsh about terrorist in chief, or terrorist in general, or terrorist leader? Why do you have to? Why do you have to break this down or like suppress how bad this man was? I don't get it, and nobody else could either. This is the best part. If you go on to Twitter with hashtag WaPo death notices, this is kind of suppressed, so it's not up there. But there's some pretty good. There's some pretty good ones on here. This is the original one, obviously, but there's this one from says Bin Laden, a noted civil engineer, public administrator, psychiatrist, and who mastered the art of brainwashing, and also worked as an air traffic controller, who tried his best to prevent 9/11, dies at 54. Adolf Hitler, passionate leader, Time magazine's Man of the Year in 1938, animal lover and vegetarian, dies at the age of 56. It just goes on and on and on. This Sauron, legendary ringmaker, scholar, and structural engineer known for his persistence and keen eye for detail, passed away surrounded by friends. So there's a ton of them, and this is just crazy. Like, how did they think this is going to be a good idea? I don't know. I don't know if it was the editor. It's got to be the editor who changed this article multiple times. But let me read a little bit more of this. Just imagine the Post claiming Osama bin Laden was a austere religious scholar. You can't, because that's not how the Post described him after the raid killed him during the Obama administration. The headline for that obituary read, Osama bin Laden killed, leader of a terrorist group, Al-Qaeda, was 54. And you see the difference here. that Washington Post is going to do everything they can, and just the major news sources in general, a lot of times, are just going to do everything they can to to downplay anything that Trump does. Again, you make me defend the guy, but like when something good happens, even if it's not completely Trump's thing, he didn't go in there with a pistol like 007 and kill him himself, but like they're trying to downplay this, to downplay the big news, just to spite him. And this is going to spin into the other part I wanted to cover. Trump says he kept details of ISIS operation for Pelosi to avoid leaks. This was even bigger, I thought, of a deal, because the people lost their mind. Lost it. Basically what happened was, when they got the news of what happened, or where the leader was, Trump and his administration got in touch with Russia and all the other major players of the area, because it was Russian airspace, and they needed to get in there. Like I said before, when it was Pakistan, we didn't want to get in touch with Pakistan, because worst case, Pakistan's not going to do anything. We had military in Pakistan at the time, or around, and we weren't really worried about repercussions there. But with as high tensions are with Russia, you couldn't do that. So they got in contact with Russia. They got in contact with Syrian officials and Kurds and everything like that, and then were able to go in and take care of business. But with this article, or what happened is Trump decided he wasn't going to tell Pelosi and the people around her, like Schiff and the others, because he was worried about it leaking out, basically, just getting to the news or getting to anybody to get out before he can make things happen, kind of like we were worried with Pakistan. And this shows how much trust he's gotten those people right now. But people are losing their minds, saying like he's a traitor and stuff. People were going crazy. I didn't get it. This is like, I'm not sure what part of this, like, don't you understand that this is big news, and you can't just go around telling everybody. You don't have time for this. You don't have time to tell everybody. Anyway, let me read this article. President Trump said Sunday morning that he did not tell House Speaker Nancy Pelosi about his U.S. military raid in Syria that resulted in the death of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, because he was worried about leaks and that it could have compromised the mission. Vice President Mike Pence said this was not an indication of lack of trust, even though it was, and I wouldn't either. When asked if he notified Pelosi beforehand, Trump said he did not, because he did not want any members of the U.S. forces to die. Come on, dude. That's great. That's good stuff. No, I didn't. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure this was kept secret, Trump said. I don't want to have people lost. Pelosi issued a statement after al-Baghdadi's death. It was announced criticizing Trump for not informing leaders of Congress beforehand. The House must be briefed on this raid, which the Russians, but not top congressional leadership, were notified of in advance. And on the administration's overall strategy in the region, Pelosi said, our military and allies deserve strong, smart, and strategic leadership from Washington. Trump said that he did notify Russia beforehand on that the U.S. would be active in the region, because Russia currently has presence there. The president said he did not reveal the purpose of the mission. Pence downplayed Trump's decision to keep Pelosi in the dark in an appearance on Fox News Sunday. Immediately following Trump's address, the vice president claimed that Trump did not mean to say he did not trust the House Speaker. I don't think that was the implication at all, Pence said. When pressed on the issue, the vice president said, we maintain the tightest possible security here and focus on Trump's goal, which is to bring al-Baghdadi to justice. That's a lot there, but I mean, that just goes back to what I said. They didn't want anybody to know. And I think it's pretty telling that they're losing their mind that they weren't told. They're saying that they need to be briefed on everything that happens, but that's not the case. He's the commander in chief. He's got defense forces in the area. He's got major generals. They're the ones who make the decisions on this kind of stuff, not Congress. And what were they going to do? Was Congress going to be like, no, we can't. We just can't do it. We're gonna have to hold a vote on whether we're gonna kill the ISIS leader or not. Come on, man. Anyway, that's the video. Long story short, killed him. Washington Post is insane. Nancy Pelosi is still insane. You guys tell me what you think below. Bye. My name is Gavin Lee, and this is my channel, LeeCast. Thanks for watching. I put out videos most days on current events, politics, and more. Please subscribe and give me advice on more of what you'd like to see and help me build this channel into not only a source for all things political and current for you, but also a place less polarized by political insanity, a whole lot more common sense and discussion, and a lot less two-party bias. Subscribe below and comment on what you'd like to see. Thank you.